So the Appalachian Trail is actually part of the National Park System. It's a haven for people from all over the world, but especially Americans, to come here and be able to find peace. And people come here to hike it and to see the views. The views are why they're here. The pipeline would be visible from the Appalachian Trail off and on for almost 100 miles. An ugly swath full of erosion, containing poison under pressure. And instead of seeing mountains, trees, beautiful vistas, we would see a permanent scar and a permanent danger.
When you think about a motivation to complete a project in 18 months or a couple years to meet the demand of some big corporations as customers, or you think about profitability horizon for the pipeline that might be 30 years or even 50 years, that is not the type of scale we operate on in the Appalachian Trail. The Appalachian Trail has been here for almost 100 years now, and we expect it and manage it so it's going to be here for hundreds of years. And so when you talk about value in terms of decades, in my mind, it really doesn't add up to the investment the public has made for almost a century now in the Appalachian Trail. There are ways to minimize the impact of these projects so that people don't see them every time they pop out of the woods for 75 miles. But when you do, when you're looking at, this open cut across, multiple ridges, it changes the experience. It changes how people can reflect and rejuvenate, and it changes, what they take back to their normal lives. And, we don't get out in front of a lot of projects. We rarely take a stance like this, but we didn't have an option with Mountain Valley Pipeline. We want to work proactively with these companies so that they have a good project from the beginning. But when a process like Mountain Valley that used flawed data from the beginning and then has tried to overwhelm the public in propping up that flawed data with just filing after filing, it's just a horse of a different color. It's really a different beast altogether from the projects that we've worked on in the past.
We're on the Appalachian Trail on top of Peters Mountain at Sims Gap. This is the spot that I will say that the MVP will assault the Appalachian Trail. It's called a cultural attachment. The people that was raised in these mountains feel like these mountains and this land is like a family member. We don't say we own the land. We're fortunate enough to be caretakers of the land. I don't know, you take assaulting a family member, it's a scar that will never, ever, ever be gone. Some people say, well, it's just a pipeline scar. Well, it's like cutting off your right arm. Once it's destroyed, it won't ever be the same. And I don't want them to come across my farm, but I definitely don't want them to come across Peters Mountain. I can leave and never see my farm again, and I probably will, but I can't come back to this county and see it coming across Peters Mountain. I can't understand how you can let something like this threaten these peaceful, loving people out to de-stress. You think all the veterans that fought for this country that walk the Appalachian Trail, it's insane. It is absolutely insane to do this.
I hope that Mountain Valley Pipeline will take a real serious approach to presenting alternatives analysis and an environmental review that the public can get behind, that we can get behind, that we can say, hey, this is the best option for all the communities that support the Appalachian Trail who might be interested in natural gas, whose homes might be run on natural gas. We want to be able to say that this is a good idea, that we've worked with a company to minimize impacts to the resources you love, to where you hike, to where you hunt, to where you fish, to the water you drink. And so the public can have a reasonable level of confidence that this is the best alternative that they're getting, the best trade-off that they're getting. And we just can't do that with this project.